Would you agree that this is the most serious security lapse since President Reagan was shot in 1981 of the Secret Service?
Yes, sir, I would.
And, do you know what Stuart Knight did when he was in charge at the time of the Secret Service? Do you know what he did afterwards?
He remained on duty.
He resigned.
Members of the House Oversight Committee took turns grilling Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle earlier today over the July 13th assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Cheatle did take responsibility for what played out, but many saw this as another lame excuse for her incompetence. Take a look.
The assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades, and I am keeping him and his family in my thoughts. I would like to offer my sincerest condolences to the family of Corey Comparator, a former fire chief and a hero who was killed in this senseless shooting. I would also like to acknowledge those who were injured in Butler, David Dutch and James Copenhagen. On July 13th, we failed. As a director of the United States Secret Service, I take full responsibility for any security lapse of our agency. We are fully cooperating with ongoing investigations. We must learn what happened, and I will move heaven and earth to ensure that an incident like July 13th does not happen again.
Despite taking full responsibility, Cheatle pushed back on bipartisan calls for her to resign as director of the Secret Service. And it didn't help that she sidestepped most of the basic questions committee members asked her. Cheatle did not provide clear answers when committee members asked whether the Secret Service had secured the building that the gunman fired from and how he gained access to the roof. While citing the ongoing investigation, Cheatle told the committee, "I'm not going to get into specifics of the day. There was a plan in place to provide overwatch, and we are still looking into responsibilities." She also declined to give specific figures on how many agents were assigned to protect Trump, as well as the number of times the Secret Service has denied Trump's request for additional security assets. Representative Nancy Mace went as far to say Cheatle was full of it while she answered a series of yes or no questions from the representative. Take a look.
Most of my questions are going to demand a yes or no answer. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
Okay, you say you're fully cooperating with this committee. On July 15th, this committee sent you a list of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th, yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of today. You're just being completely dishonest.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
Chairman, I want to.
Come on.
We have to maintain decorum in this committee.
Now, Mace continued calling out Cheatle for dodging the questions and requests from the committee. Take a look.
Have you provided all memorandums within the Secret Service?
I would have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. You are being dishonest or lying. You're being dishonest here with this committee. These are important questions that the American people want answers to, and you're just dodging and talking around it in generalities. And we had to subpoena you to be here, and you won't even answer the questions. We have asked you repeatedly to answer our questions. This isn't hard. These are not hard questions. Have you provided us all communications from the Secret Service related to that day and that rally? Have you provided this committee? We've asked for this information on July 15th. Have you provided any of this information that this committee has asked of the Secret Service? Any of it?
I'll have to get back to you.
Have you even read this letter that we sent you? Did you even read this?
Yes.
Okay, and you have said you don't know, you have no idea. The answer is no. We haven't gotten a single document or piece of information or data from you or your agency in related to the rally that we have asked you for.
Democratic Representative Jerry Connolly from Virginia even asked what would be considered a very basic question that Cheatle didn't answer. Do guns make her job easier or harder? He said, please answer the question. You're the head of the Secret Service, and now I think you're evading the answer, which is not a hard one. Cheatle said her goal is to have a completed report within 60 days, which was slammed as unacceptable and too long. It's been 9 days. Every American wants these questions answered. From James Comer, who's the head of the Oversight Committee. After the hearing finished, Chairman James Comer and Ranking Member Jamie Raskin sent a letter officially calling on Cheatle to resign, and you can see that here. Cenk, do you think this is something that Republicans are just manufacturing? Of course, Raskin is involved in this. Do you think they're out of bounds here calling for her to resign? It's a complicated situation, but I'm curious what you think. Are they onto something here?
Yeah, no, they're not manufacturing it at all. Of course she should resign. In fact, it's outrageous that Joe Biden hasn't fired her already. So look, the only part where I thought Nancy Mace went too far is she says, hey, did you provide this? Did you provide that? And she says, I'll have to get back to you on that. And she goes, you're lying. Well, that's not really a lie. She's saying, I'm not gonna answer it, which is annoying in a different direction, right? So it was a little grandstanding on that one, but outside of that, all the questions were legitimate from the Republicans and the Democrats. Some of the toughest questioning came from, as you saw there, Ro Khanna, AOC, Jamie Raskin, all these progressives going, what are you doing? And that's government accountability, we believe in that. But this is a no-brainer. I can't believe she still has the job. Because look, number one, she said there, as you guys all saw, largest operational failure in decades. Well, if you were in charge during the largest failure in decades, shouldn't you step down? That's kind of just the most obvious thing in the world, right? And then secondly, we're now, 9 days later, and you can't answer the number one question of why was that guy on the roof for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes where they knew he was on the roof and they didn't get Trump off the stage or go on the roof. There might be a real answer to that. They might have thought, hey, we communicated to the local police and we thought that was a local cop on the roof. That's why we didn't shoot and kill him, right? But even that doesn't quite answer why didn't you get Trump off the stage. But all of that is not nearly as important as what's the freaking answer? Like, you can't tell me you don't know after 9 days. It only takes you 1 day to talk to the Secret Service people involved there, the local police, etc. So the fact that she doesn't have an answer for the number one most overwhelming question, again, is totally unacceptable. And I think the number one problem here is Joe Biden, to be honest. Because if I'm the president, and the Secret Service almost got my opponent killed through what is gross negligence at best. And I think it is. I think it was horrible malpractice. I don't believe in any of the conspiracy theories. But okay, gross negligence, horrible malpractice are definitely fireable offenses. If you're not gonna fire over this, I mean, what are you doing? I know you're at this point, Biden's obsessed with his own career, etc. Made the right decision yesterday, but let's do some presidenting, okay, and fire this lady.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. This is somebody who should have been gone like the next day. You have theoretically one job, and that is to protect the president or the former presidents, their families, that kind of stuff. And on that point, Ken Klippenstein in his Substack this week did a report on all of the other things that the Secret Service does, and many of them don't seem to make sense for the Secret Service. He argues that they should have a more focused approach to their work and that the budget is inflated because they're doing all these other things and then agents are stretched too thin. But on this point, sorry, you're the head of the agency. If you have a failure like this, even if it wasn't a situation where somebody was seen on the roof by attendees of this event, even if it wasn't that, the blame goes to the top. That's how it works. Sorry, you're out. But that it is so bad that there was such a massive failure, that this person got a shot off, killed somebody, and you're still clinging to your job. Get her out of there. Good Lord. I mean, yeah, Biden's got COVID, but like, how hard could it be? Just put some paper in front of him, grab his arm, take the pen, and sign it for him. Like this is unacceptable. She shouldn't be in that position anymore.
Oh, I just got an idea. You know what they should do? Kamala Harris should fire her.
Oh,
she's the vice president
for a day.
And Biden can say, hey, I've got COVID. I assigned this to Kamala Harris. She talked it over with her and immediately took action. So, because look, guys, last thing on this, because it's so obvious, I think we all agree. If the bullet goes an inch in the other direction, Trump is dead. And then I would imagine you'd be fired if Trump was dead. So do you still have your job because the guy missed? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. This is a rare moment of agreement across the entire political spectrum. For God's sake, fire her already. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.